This is something that also derived from Earl Nightingale. If you've ever heard of The Stranger's Secret, I listen to that tape. I mean, that audio at least 3 to 4 times a week. I try to listen every single day because it always keeps a reminder of don't get complacent or don't lack off and don't be mediocre. Always remain above average. So the first step he expresses is to understand first we become what we think about. And I know we hear that time and time and time again, but I don't think people spend enough time with that thought. They don't spend enough time with that moment. You become what you think about. And I believe you first have to identify, is your subconscious and your conscious thoughts, are they in alignment together, right? So you have to understand, are those thoughts in alignment together? And we drop the playback so you guys can check out the playback as well. But I usually just talk from my heart. The spirit just moves through me. I don't have any like pre-notes set. So the first thing is he talks about is you become what you think about. And if you really truly understand it and dissect each word in that statement, who are you and what do you become and what are you thinking about? You first have to analyze your environment. You have to analyze the people that are around you. You have to analyze the audios, the visuals that you listen to. There's 2 types of people. There are people that can listen and be around different types of environments and people, and they just allow it all to saturate into their mind and their heart and their body and spirit. These are people that are easily irritated and agitated by what other people say. They're easily irritated, influenced, and agitated by what people do. And it's okay to be like to have some type of level of concern for different situations, but it's another thing to become responsive and reactive to where it just completely ruins your day. So understanding the type of posture you have to have in the midst of those different types of environments. And there's another person who refuses to even put themselves in the position of being in those type of situations or those horrible environments, because you have to be, when you become aware of who you are and what you become and what you're going to allow in and out of your space, you're going to begin to protect that space. And you're also going to have a level of discernment to realize I don't even belong here. I don't even feel comfortable here. And that's where growth comes from. If you're studying your beliefs, you're studying faith, you're studying personal development, guys, you're going to find yourself being pulled away, or you're going to find yourself not wanting to be in certain places because it doesn't make you feel good anymore. Because once you've grown out of a toxic space, once you have healed and you have scaled and your level of awareness has changed, there's going to be a change to happen in you where you no longer want to be present in those situations. So you have to be careful of the spaces and the things that you're listening to, because it's going to have a huge influence on first your thoughts and what you're thinking about 24/7. And also it's going to be able to start changing your habits. Your habits is truly your identity, because you can think about, said this on several previous calls, that you can change your thinking and not change your paradigm. What is your paradigm? Your paradigm is who you are. It is your identity. It is the person you are when no one is around. It is not the person you try to pretend to be on your job. It's not the person you pretend to be with certain people around. It's the person. How do you brush your teeth every single morning? How do you start the car? How do you get dressed? How do you eat your food? Your identity, your paradigm, what you do subconsciously without thinking. So you have to make sure that your thinking and your paradigm become one. Somebody drop 1 in the chat box. You have to make sure your thinking and your identity and your habits become one. If I want to be in shape, I can't just keep thinking about losing weight. I have to allow that to become a part of my identity. How do I change that? Well, I start beginning to study, reach out to different personal trainers. I begin to look at information about health. I reach out to people who have more wisdom about me about taking better care of my health. I begin to study, how do I evolve from the space of just simply thinking about a thing and becoming a thing. There we go, be for real. Somebody drop the word become in the chat box. I go from a space of simply thinking about a thing to actually becoming that thing. And that is the best space to be in, because once you no longer think about something, guys, and it becomes a part of your subconscious, you are now in a space of unconscious competence, where you can do something without thinking. You can do something without forcing yourself to do it. Anybody ever force themselves to get out of the bed? Ever force yourself to do laundry? Ever force yourself? It is so crazy, because physically these things are very, very simple. But why does it feel like such a mental toll to fold clothes or wash the dishes and stuff like that right before you go to bed, or different little tasks? But if you learn to love these things, if you learn to set your routine up in such a smooth, efficient way, things don't feel like such a task, right? But the key right now is to not just simply think about what it is that you want all day, but make sure you have become what it is that you want by putting in new routines, studying the right information, and reaching out to the right people who will advise you and help you to become a new being, a better version of yourself. That is the first thing we do. So not what am I simply thinking about, but what is my habits? And if my habits are not in congruence with my thinking, then I have to begin to evolve my routine. So that's the first step of action that we have to do. The second step is to make sure you understand the power of your imagination. Allow your mind, your imagination can benefit you, and it also can hurt you depending on which direction you apply it. So you don't want to impose any limiting thoughts. You don't want to say, oh, I'm not good enough. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't have the expense. I don't have the resources. I don't should not even be a part of your speech unless somebody's trying to borrow some money from you. Like, no, I don't have it. They need to go read a book and get some financial classes unless it's just an emergency or something, right? So you have to understand imposing limitations on yourself when you can set yourself free by making sure you use the power of your imagination in such a constructive way, not a destructive way. And that's why a lot of people are out here dealing with so many mental illnesses. They're dealing with adversity and challenges in their family and communication, with so many friendships and relationships and in job situations, and so many different areas, because they allow their minds to wander whatever they want. And a lot of times people's mind begin to wander through toxic things. They begin to dwell on toxic things. Like a friend of mine was talking about, her friend was saying something. She just hopped on the line. Yummy. I'm talking about a friend of ours where she was traveling somewhere. She's like, oh my God, why would you want to travel there? Are you scared they're going to, kidnap you, et cetera, et cetera? And it's like, you are allowing your imagination. I believe if you allow your imagination to wander in a space of fear and worry, then you're not operating from the space of faith. Because a person who is completely grounded in their faith and completely grounded in their personal development and belief, that's not to deny that those are true facts. This is facts that there's evil things and evil forces and evil people that are around the world, right? But at the end of the day, you're going to attract what you spend your thoughts with, whatever you spend your thinking on, that's what you're going to attract. They say the thing you most fear is also going to present itself. So let's not focus on those things. It doesn't matter. Yes, they're facts, but that's not what I want to create in my world. You got to ask yourself, what type of thinking do you want in your world? What type of power, what do you want to use your imagination for? Guys, children are using their imagination to think of the most amazing things. Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk have used their imagination to make a global impact on the world. What do you use your imagination for constructively? It doesn't have to be on this big commercial scale. It could be simple things. It could be about having better relationships and better communication. It could be about just saving $10 a week. It could be about, let me just wake up and pray for 5 minutes in the mornings. You have to start beginning to use your imagination to benefit you constructively, and allow yourself to imagine yourself in such a space of blessings and overflow and abundance. And understand this, just because you have peace and have faith doesn't mean that it's going to that's going to pull adversity away from you, right? You have to understand these principles and understand the things that go along in the space, but please protect your imagination. And that's why so many people are hurting themselves. Imagination allows people to deal with mental illnesses and things of that nature, because they have literally thought themselves into inaction. They have thought themselves into trauma. They have thought themselves into fear. They have thought things that are most invisible is what people most fear. What is most invisible is what people most fear. They haven't even reached a point of the experience yet, but it's simply standing still in the comfort of your home, sitting on your couch, and somebody will allow themselves to fear something, and your heart rate changes and things begin to change in your life because of what? Your choice was to choose the side where God doesn't reside. God said, I don't give you the spirit of fear. So you got to get off of that flesh plane and get over here to the spiritual plane and use your imagination for its true purpose, to serve people, to give, and to continue to impact lives and live an abundant life. And remember, that doesn't eliminate adversity, but it's the power of choosing not to allow it to live inside your plane, right? The third thing we have to do, ladies and gentlemen, is also have courage. You got to concentrate on your goals every single day. It takes courage every day to focus on the things that you want. It takes courage to focus on being better financially, to gaining new skills, to reading more books. It takes courage to be able to get up and go and work out and take better care of your body. It takes courage to forgive somebody. It takes courage to go out here and achieve these different goals and dreams, guys, because at the end of the day, it's something you got to do every day. But that's why the first point is so important, because if you not simply just focus on thinking, but you focus on becoming, that courage will become so subconscious, it doesn't take force anymore. It doesn't take effort. And if you truly understand your relationship between you and God and you being the co-creator, then at the end of the day, guess what? Everything is already in place for you. But you got to be in the space of receiving as well. You can't receive a gift without good behavior. You can't receive a gift without being a great person. These gifts, something you have to exchange something. Now, that doesn't mean you have a level of receipt, a level of expectation to get something from somebody. But when you are in relationship with God, his only expectation of you is to give him the glory and expect for him to deliver on your behalf. But your level of faith has to be in place. That's the transition. That's the transaction. Your faith is the transaction. I'm going to come for you. Matter of fact, it's not even transaction. It's a magnetic force, because you don't have to pay. You don't have to necessarily give something to God. You have to just allow him to see that you believe, and he's going to show up all the time. Anybody ever been in a space where God showed up on your behalf? And you're like, man, I know it wasn't nothing but a supernatural force to take care of me right now. Because there is no way in the world I should have made it out of this situation based off of what I see out of these facts. And so it takes courage every day to get up and chase those goals, and not to get weary and not to waver, and to remain consistent about what it is that you want and what it is that you desire. All right. Anybody got courage on the call tonight? Drop some ones in the chat box, right? We got to concentrate every single day, and don't beat yourself up when your record is not perfect. Don't beat yourself up because you wanted to work out 5 times a week and you only did it twice. The key is to make sure you focus on the fact that you took the step. A lot of times we overcommit ourselves and allow ourselves to burn out or to give up. But if you just say, let me start off with just a little bit, let me just take a bite size first. And then that bite size becomes a appetizer, and that appetizer becomes an entree. And then you can have dessert and you can celebrate and toast it up and say, God, thank you again for interceding on my behalf. And that's what people are not in relationship. They're not in relationship. I think me and Alicia was talking about not too long ago about the term intellectual assent. It's the same thing I spoke on the first point. People can think, but that doesn't mean you're becoming. Whew. You can think and not become. Dang it, that's good. You can think and not become, right? And so people have to get in relationship. You got to meditate on that thought. I'm thinking about this thing all day, but am I actually becoming? No, because you didn't take action, because you didn't reach out to the person and ask them for mentorship, because you're allowing your cowardice, or you're allowing your pride or your ego to say, I don't need anything from them. I got this. I don't want to ask them any questions. They may be too busy. I don't want to ask them questions. They may not have time for me. You again are using your imagination to create limiting situations from a blessing. God has already given you resources. If God has given you the message, if he's giving you the idea, if he's giving you the goal, if he's giving you the passion and the purpose, you have to understand he's going to supply your needs. He's not going to come to the table empty-handed. And so a lot of times we allow our flesh and our level of thinking on this plane to think about how God is acting on our behalf. But if he was acting from this level, there's no way in the world a lot of us would be where we need to be all today. There's no way we'll be where we are today. So we have to stop saying cliches and just hoping and crossing our fingers that things happen, guys. You got to believe that, just like, that sun is rising in the morning. People's level of faith is not there. You think it is, but it's not. And that's what you call intellectual assent, because intellectual assent means you think you believe, but your heart knows it doesn't believe. That's the difference. I believe. I don't waver. I don't care. I know it's going to be adversity. I know there's going to be trials. I know that things are going to happen in my life. I had some adversity recently, and I was sitting there like, bro, I am so calm. I could feel my level of growth. I could feel that my level of faith and calmness had shifted. I felt like I was floating in the air. Like, I'm like, man, my faith is like really growing, because it's already like there. And it's like, man, how many levels to this can it go? And I'm excited to see. I tell people all the time, I heard Bob Proctor say one time, he doesn't stop teaching about belief and faith and different things of that nature, because he wants to get to the point where he can wake up one day and he's walking on water. And that's how I feel. I want to be able to say, I can walk on water. That's the level of supernatural attraction that I'm trying to reach to. That's where I want to get to the level of Peter and Paul and John and Matthew and Mark. I want to get to that level of faith when y'all see Beaverell out here swimming on this pool. Standing on this pool, moon sliding. All right. Moon sliding, on my faith. All right. So you got to have that courage every single day to work towards your goals. You may feel tired, you may feel weary, and it's okay. Even if you just took 5 minutes to work on your goals that day and the rest of the day you took a break, at the end of the day, it's about maintaining that level of consistency so you can have a snowball effect that at one point, just like you wrote your ABCs every day, just like people are calling your name every day, just like you was studying math and science and all this information to where you can know it just like you know your name. That's how you have to operate in whatever your goals and desires. You want, oh, that's good. You want to know, you want to be able to say, whoever it is that you want to become, ladies and gentlemen, you want to get to the point that if somebody says millionaire, you know that's your name. If somebody says integrity, you know that's your name. If somebody says driven, focused, persevering, faithful, you know that's your name, because you have been called enough times and you spent enough time creating this identity that without you saying a single thing, you have now created it. Oh, I know she's faithful. Oh, I know she perseveres. Oh, I know he's honest. I know he's transparent, because your actions were backed, your actions were evidence of your faith. So you have to understand your courage can also create your identity. Your courage can also create your habits, your character, absolutely. All right. So as we begin to understand not only what we're thinking about, but understanding, are we thinking and becoming, not just simply thinking. All right. Using the power of your imagination to create and be constructive and not destroy. And to also make sure you are having that courage every day and focusing on your goals every single day, being consistent. Okay. And also making sure that you take care of yourself financially, your family, your physical, putting aside money on every single pay period. We can't get to a space, guys, where the money is flowing in and we completely just get rid of it, all of it out. Like I did that all my life. And for the past 2 years, it's all been about, I'm going to set aside 10%. I pay my tithes and I pay myself 10%. So 80% of my income, right? And then after that, living off 25% of 80%. So what people have to understand is, if you follow the right habits, listen, the right habits will save you every single time. Life is not hard. You build up that safety net. You have to understand that you trying to achieve all these other goals and stuff like that financially, that's going to help contribute to your life insurance. I mean, when I say life insurance, I'm not talking about a life insurance policy. I'm talking about your own financial insurance, meaning you saved up and allocated money to your pockets first. All right. Because businesses can fail at any given time. Pandemics and all this stuff can happen at any time. But if you stay to the principle of, I'm always going to put aside 10%, that is your insurance against the economy. All right. And that's what people keep me. Oh, it's hard and tough. No, when the money was coming in, you should have been allocating the money. So when these trials and tribulations hit, it doesn't have an earthquake happening in your house, because you have a strong financial foundation, because you begin to not only save, but you begin to invest as well. You cannot break that rule. There's been times I have done it because I'm just like, oh my God, I'm tripping. I got to make sure I'm paying myself. I got to put it somewhere, right? It has saved my butt a lot of times, y'all, promise you, right? So now it's like, okay, let me keep getting a surplus. Let me keep running that bag up, because I don't want to not have my safety net in place. I can care less whatever, I can care less what's going on in the world, as long as I take care of my family and my friends by making the right decisions. Now we live in such a society where everybody's so reactive. So take care of your family, take care of yourself, do right financially, get with an advisor. If you don't have the money to spend time with somebody, get on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram and hashtag wealth knowledge, hashtag financial mentorship, financial knowledge. Like, it's all over the world at this point. There's no reason why everybody should be sitting around here still hurting. We got to do better with money management. So you know what you're thinking about. You become what you're thinking about. You allow it to become a habit. You allow it to become a part of your identity. You use the power of your imagination to keep the end in mind, to make sure that you're spending time with the goal mentally, spiritually, mentally and spiritually. Spend time with the goal, and physically, because the physical is your actions, right? Before I bought this keyboard, it was an image in my phone. I kept spending time with it. I would go to Guitar Center and spend time with it. I was having dates with my vision. Are you having dates with your vision? Right? If you're launching a business, are you on Google and YouTube or whatever, looking up products, researching? You got to spend time. on the process. You have to have dates with the process. And if you're not in the position yet to say, okay, I want to drop X amount of money on this keyboard, well, listen, let me go touch it at the facility. Let me go press play. Let me go spend some time with it. So that's what we have to make sure we're doing. And also at the income that we do have coming in, guys, I don't care if your bills are more than your income, you still pay yourself 10%. I don't care if your goals and expenses are more than your income, you still pay yourself 10% because that is your safety net, right? Safety net. And of course, the last thing we have to do is make sure we're always taking action. We must take action. Now, action isn't always just physical, run around like a chicken with your head cut off. Action could be you picking up a new book about your goal, picking up a new book about that industry, picking up a new book about that character building, that personal development, picking up a new book about science and math, whatever it is that you're trying to learn, technology and tech and oil, whatever industry, whatever skill, whatever part of your character building, spiritual development. Action isn't always just physical. And also, sitting still sometimes and having a level of reflection is also action. I ain't talking about being lazy and procrastinating. I'm talking about intentional meditation and reflection. How far have I come? What else do I need to do? What's the next step? That is also taking action. All right. But we must make sure we're not spending time on worthless acts. Don't confuse movement with progression. Okay. People move every single day. I see people in my my space, in my at my crib every single day, moving in and out of this facility, leaving the parking garage. But that doesn't mean it's progression, right? They can be waiting for time to expire. So a lot of people in the world unconsciously are just allowing the passing of time and not allowing the creation of memories and impact and giving back. So you have to, again, don't get so comfortable waking up every single day, but you got to wake up thriving and excited. I know it may be challenging. I don't know every single person's situation on this call. I don't know what adversity you may be facing today, but what I do know is you have a choice what to feed your mind. You have a choice of what decisions you're going to make for that day. And you have a choice to make a plan of action to exit toxic and negative and bad situations. And you guys may be living the best life. You may be having a great life, but continue to protect that, continue to grow. Don't get comfortable winning. Don't get comfortable winning. Stay in a state of gratitude, stay in a state of humility, and continuously keep growing, seeking new things, seeking expression, right? But that's the 5 ways. Those are 5 things we got to do. Understand what we're thinking about and be able to see, okay, I'm thinking about this thing, but am I really becoming this thing? Because thinking doesn't mean becoming. All right. I love that Earl says you become what you think about. But I believe that thinking has to be on a subconscious and a conscious level. It can't just be on one plane. Okay. I believe you become what you think about consciously and subconsciously. And those two have to touch and agree, and they have to make an agreement. Because subconsciously, I may be lazy and hate going to the gym. And consciously, I'm aware that I want to work out. I have to make a choice to marry those 2 levels of thinking, those 2 planes, and I can become one with the decision that I am going to be healthy. I'm going to rise every single day. I'm going to read. I'm going to work out. That's when they touch and agree. And that's when you start to become understanding my power of imagination for construction use, understand that I got to work towards my goals every single day. And it's going to take courage. It's going to take wit. It's going to take grit. And ultimately, it just takes an effortless. It's going to take a level of awareness, knowing that if I continue to work through faith and works, that God has already provided every single thing that I need in my life, taking care of my financial situation, my body, my physical, my emotions, and always taking action on every single level, every single space. You're not going to have 100% winning ratio every single day. But as long as you wake up and said, I did my best today. And always before you go to bed at night or the beginning of the week on Sundays, plan your week. Stop don't be a reactive person. Oh, shoot, I forgot I had to do this. Oh, shoot, I forgot to get to do this. If you can see the week, you can see the goal, because you can see the week and instill those habits in the week so that your goals will be a byproduct of your habits. So I'm going to say that again. See the week, see the day-to-day by activities that need to take place. Instill the habits in those days. And one day you're going to wake up and say, man, I have arrived. Somebody drop the word arrived in the chat box. Drop I have arrived in the chat box. If you are ready to arrive at your goals, your dreams, if you're ready to arrive at a fulfilled and purposeful life, please drop I have arrived in the chat box, because it's going to take for you to plan. It's going to take for you to prepare. so that you can be ready to receive. A person who does not plan and prepare does not receive. It's just that simple. And it blows my mind that people complicate life. It's literally, what do I want? What knowledge do I have to start somewhere? I may not know it all, but I'm gonna start with something. How do I start a clothing line? You got Google, and it's no excuses for anybody these days, because you got freaking Google, TikTok, and YouTube, and Instagram, and people teaching every single thing that they know, because they want everybody to win. And some people just want to make a bag, but hey, a lot of people do know what they're talking about. So there is no excuses. Excuses is the language of the poor. It's as simple as that. That's what I tell people all the time. Excuses is the language of the poor. And if you're not prepared for adversity, you could be prepared for the flat tires and stuff like that. Always save your money up, all right? It's the power of preparation. It's really that simple. Your life will be so much easier and so much prepared. But I'm glad y'all came on this call tonight, all right? Let's prepare for receiving. Let's prepare for abundance and overflow by making sure we instill in the right habits and taking action, all right? Y'all do me a favor, go to the Generational Wealth Chat and type in, you are welcome, Mr. Robinson. You guys go to the Generational Wealth Chat and please drop in there, I have arrived. Let's just drop in there, I have arrived. And let's get what God has already prepared for us. I love you guys. I appreciate you for allowing me to share this segment with you guys, the power within, understanding the power within, your supernatural power. It is so powerful. Your imagination is so powerful. I want y'all to really study it, man. Don't just, oh, I gotta go on Google, just study your imagination. That's a higher mental faculty. Why is it that I can sit here and close my eyes and think about the future? Why is it that you guys can sit there and have dreams and have these different experiences? Your mind is so freaking powerful. It is so amazing. We have to meditate and spend time on it, study that. Just like y'all studying people's social media feeds, studying, sometimes you maybe find yourself in a rabbit hole on wasteless information. But what if you was in a rabbit hole on something that completely and drastically changed your life? I believe you can do it. You just got to control your power, because we're all superhumans. A lot of people use their powers to destroy their lives and do dumb stuff. And a lot of us are using our lives to make a constructive, impactful, and amazing experience in this world that we have. All right. So make the best of it, make the best of life, and continue to thrive and focus on becoming a better version of you. If you don't like how your hair look, get some better hair. If you don't like how you're speaking, read more books. If you don't like your employer, update your resume, gain a new skill set. If you don't like your financial situation, pick up Rich Dad Poor Dad, pick up The Richest Man in Babylon, pick up The Science of Getting Rich, pick up all of this information that can continuously change. It's just learning. Let's continue to learn and thrive, guys. I love y'all. I have arrived. I'm glad y'all have arrived, and I'm grateful to see you celebrating y'all goals. Y'all do me a favor. Let's go to the chat box, drop some flames and some hearts or whatever. Let's celebrate each other right now for achieving every single thing that we not only think about, but we are becoming. Let's celebrate the new house. Let's celebrate the increase. Let's celebrate the best shape. Let's celebrate the best health. Let's celebrate healing. Let's celebrate forgiveness. Let's celebrate love and kindness and peace and understanding and compassion and selflessness. Let's celebrate the things that make this life so amazing, and love and giving back. Let's celebrate abundance. Let's celebrate the fact that you have zero loans and zero debt. Let's celebrate what you know. We know it's done, but do you believe it in your heart? All right. It's in your mind, but is it in your heart? Let's get it. I love y'all. Have a blessed day. Let's go to the GW chat and say, I have arrived. Y'all have a winning night. I drop the playback here in the morning. Y'all have a blessed day. Thank y'all for tuning in. See y'all next week at 9 o'clock. All right. Peace and blessings, y'all.